And welcome to the introduction of PBIS Rewards. So before I get started, just want to say hi to my team. Everybody's here. Share my screen. All right, I think we're good now. All right, so today for PBIS Rewards, we'll be working out of the digital teacher resources, which can be found in Canvas. All right, so we are going to the Back to School 2022 tab. And since today is Thursday, almost made it to the end of the week. So I'm clicking on Intro to PBIS Rewards, and that will bring up the agenda. So you guys can follow along if you'd like. So on the agenda, we do have some links and a little bit of information. So PBIS Rewards. What is PBIS Rewards? So PBIS stands for Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports. It's an evidence-based framework used by schools to improve school culture and student behavior, promoting a safe learning environment for learning. And please make sure you mute yourself. A key aspect of PBIS is focusing on more positive behaviors and less on negative behaviors. And is also a digital PBIS management solution that assists schools in teaching appropriate behavior. So we want to focus on the positive, less on the negative, and hopefully the students who are doing the negative behaviors will make a change for the better. All right, so why did we choose PBIS Rewards? So first of all, according to board policy and student data privacy, that dictates that we only communicate with parents and students on district approved applications. So number two, sites that violate board policy are being blocked. So we're talking sites like Class Dojo, Seesaw, Aptogy, Talking Points, Schoology. All these sites violate board policy and therefore have to be blocked and can't be used. And third, district wanted to provide a solution to the positive behavior and also something all-encompassing with parent communication. So those are the three reasons why PBIS was chosen by our district. All right, so accessing PBIS Rewards. So first off, we can get through PBIS Rewards using ClassLink because it's web-based. And it is also app-based. So they have 3 different apps. They have a staff app that we all have, the family app, and the student app, which can be downloaded onto your phone. So before we go any further, just log into your PBIS account in case you haven't already, just so you can see all the options that I'm going to go through today. And just give me a thumbs up in the chat when you have located and signed into your app. Right, so just in case you can't find it, the PBIS Rewards is on your class link. For some people, it might have been in the district folder. Now I think it's outside. And if you're having any issues, please, you can put in a ticket. And if you can't find it on the main screen, you can always type into the search bar PBIS, and it'll just pop it and you can click on it. All right, so if it's not working, just put in a ticket and everybody else will be moving on. All right, so once you do sign into your PBIS app on your class link, I want you to install it on your phone because that'll make things easier when you're giving rewards during the year. So that is optional. If you don't want to put it on your phone, just wait patiently until we move on. But I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to install the app on your phone. Then I have some directions that'll help you get set up, and then hopefully it doesn't have any login issues. iPhones, Androids, all mobile devices, iPads as well. So before you do log in, make sure you go back to the PBIS Rewards on your laptop and click on the login auth codes. That button is on the left side on the navigation, on the global navigation portal. Then we're going to click the green plus button, click staff, click authorize myself, generate the code, and then we're going to enter that code in the app. So I'll leave these directions up and I'll give you about 5 minutes. And once again, once you do finish with this, just throw a thumbs up in the chat just to let everybody know that you're good.
Malik, for a second, could you just pull up the PBIS Rewards app and show them where the button is?
Yes. All right, so on the app, your login auth codes are on the left side on the global navigation panel, all the way on the bottom. So you click those, click on staff. Sorry, I might be going too fast. Click on the green plus sign. So that will bring up your code after you authorize yourself, generate code. And there you go.
No one used that one though. You have to use your own.
Yes, use the one that comes up on your screen, please. Absolutely. All right, so now that everybody's set up, we're going to move on. Sorry. So next part I want to talk about is the groups. So there's 2 ways you can access your groups. So on the home screen, on our home dashboard, we have the My Groups. Groups are going to be your classes. So every class should be listed no matter what grade you teach. The other way you can manage your groups is on the global navigation panel, which is on the left side. If you click that, that will open a bigger screen. So once again, this is what you'll see on the bottom, and you guys can, feel free to explore in your own portal, but I'm just showing you what you should be seeing. So if you do click on that left side tab of groups, it will open up a bigger screen when you have your groups listed. You can sort your groups by grade levels. You can see other groups as well. And this is the place where you can add your groups. So you can manage your groups, add new groups. You can organize, change the group picture, and create groups. And if you don't have any groups listed yet, no worries. Usually it's rostered by focus. So if you don't have any students, you won't have any groups. So before we practice making a group, I just want to show you on the home screen. So like I was saying, on the home dashboard, you have your groups listed. You can expand and collapse that menu. And on the left side of the screen, this is where we also get to see our groups, and this gives us some options. So when we're adding a group, we can enter the group name, put the subject. So let's say this is test. Oops. Test 1. We'll put a subject. And for example, I am interventions learning. Now we can also edit the owners. So if anybody wanted to add a staff member, add a co-teacher, add add a ESC push-in person, or even a SLP person. Okay, so they can all be added to any group. So let's say I add myself. So here we can remove that person, and we can click whether they should be a leader or not. Okay, so we can toggle that. So as many people as you want to add to the group, you can. So this is just for staff right here. So I exit out. I'll save that group, and I'm gonna have you guys create a group in a couple minutes. I just want to show you first. So once you create that group, it takes you into the new group, and then you have some other options. So you have on the top right, you have your SEL check. So that stands for social emotional learning. So basically how a child feels during the day, if they're happy, if they're sad, not doing well. This is where we can submit that status and view. You can randomly choose students. You can send a message to parents. Obviously, you have to pick a student first. We have authorization codes and the settings. And on the left side, we can choose the students to select for our rewards. And before we do that, I'm going to go back to the home screen. And I'm going to scroll down to students. Now, in everybody's profile right now, we have 5 test students. Okay. So we have 1 student test, 2 student tests, 3, 4, and 5. So this is the way we get to play with these students without messing anything up for good. So these will not be saved. What we can do is make a group with these students so we can practice giving rewards and seeing what that looks like. So we see our test group. So right now we don't have any students in it. I'd like to add a student. So on the add student part, so as I'm typing in 1 student test, it pops up. So this is how we add students to the group. So I add that second student, 2 student tests. All right, so now we have a group with 2 students in it. So now if we want to select all students to reward, we can click that. Let's say I want to reward somebody for both of them for respect, responsibility. I click reward, and that updates. So we do get a little chime just to know that something's happening, and I'll go through that in a second. Those are customizable as well. Now, every school will not see the same categories here. So it's set up by your admin. So here with Liberty, we have respect, responsibility, and safety. Your school may be different, so don't feel like you're out of the loop just because you might have something different. All right, so I want you to practice creating a group.
Now, Malik, while they're practicing creating groups, are you able to add a person on the app? That was one of the questions. Again? Are you able to add a person on the app? That was one of our questions.
On the mobile app?
Yes.
Yes, you should be able to have the same functionality with the web-based app as the digital app. Any other questions?
We have one other question. So all students from the school show up under my contact or under my students in addition to test students. But eventually the students will be in groups and assigned to me once they're linked for things like SLP and focus, right?
Yeah, so in your students, and I'm sorry, it's just going a little slow. In the students tab, you get all students from the entire school. Okay, so the test students are on top. All students for the school, regardless of what you teach, everybody in focus for that school will be listed there. Now your groups are only your classes that you have in focus, unless you create a different group. So that is a little bit different. But the thing about PBIS Rewards is that you can reward any student at any time, whether they're yours or not. All right, so before we go on, I just want to give you guys a chance to create a test group. So create the name, the subject, add a co-owner if you'd like, and make sure you save it. And then you can practice adding students. So we have those 5 test students. You can practice adding them. You can practice assigning rewards depending on your categories. And I'll bring you through those options in a couple minutes. So I'll give you guys 5 minutes to create a group. And once you do, add a couple students and throw me a thumbs up in the chat. All right, to authorize another user, if you're in your test group, actually, I'll show you from the beginning. When you add a group, when you enter your name, your subject, when you click on edit owners, and here, this is where you can add your staff. Okay, so any staff in the school you're able to add. So here I'll add myself, and you can make them the leader of that group, or you can keep yourself as the leader. So you can add as many staff as you want, and they'll be listed here under owners.
Malik, what if they have groups under another teacher's name? Are they able to go ahead and remove them, or should they wait?
I would wait. If another teacher's name shows up under your groups, there might be a scheduling issue. So you might have to wait just so whoever your secretary is, whoever's loading the classes can fix that. All right, if you want to add students to a group that's already been created, if it is one of your actual classes, you won't be able to add that since it's rostered through Focus. So once Focus updates, that class will update. Now, if it's your test group or a group that you've created, then you can edit and add students. So if you go to the settings, click on edit group, and here you're able to add students. So if I wanted to add that 3rd student, 3-student test, and he'll pop up.
Malik, could you please tell me again where settings is?
Yes, I was just about to go through that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so once you're in your test group or in any group, your settings are on the top right, the gear button. So you have your edit group where you can add students. You can change the photo. You can edit your owners. You can change the subject, and you can also delete that group. So this is only for the groups that you've created. Like I said before, your class groups, they would only change through Focus. Now, another part of your options with your settings, you could change your display size. That's your plus and minus. You can change your volume, and you can change how you sort your groups. So they can be sorted first name, last name, or last name, first name. So you can also print, and you can manage your point sounds. So if you want to manage your point sounds, if you have sounds uploaded onto your computer, you can upload those. So the default sound that we have here is that. So anytime you reward a student, that's what you'll hear. So like I said, it's customizable, and you can change it if you would like. All right, so on the left side of the screen here, we do have a menu. So that shows us our rewards, My Store, events, raffles. So the default screen is the rewards. If you click on My Store, this is for rewarding when you have items to give out. Okay, My Store is the actual teacher store, not the school store. And there is a difference, and I'm gonna talk about that in a couple minutes. So this is where you can add items to your store, or students can redeem items from your store. So since we don't have anything, we can just move on. My events, and I'll talk about the events as well. Raffles. You can add events here where students can get points for doing things or showing up. Like if you have a Title I night, you can give reward points for students showing up or good behavior. Really, whatever you choose to do, you can add that here. And the same thing with raffles. If your school does set up a raffle, usually set up by admin, then you can add that here as well. All right, so I do want to move on to the activity part. So your activity is basically what you have rewarded during the entire school year. So you do have a calendar here. Anytime you reward a student, it will show up in the list with how many points, the time, and if you added any comments. So anytime you reward a student, you have an option to add comments for what they did. Okay, and that can be sorted as well according to your groups or all students. Okay, so we click on that test 1 group. So obviously these are the only students in that test 1 group that I've rewarded. So those are the only students that will pop up. All right, moving on to the stores. So like I said, you have a school store and My Store. School store is the store set up by your admin. And it should not be set up now since this is a fairly new program to the district. I'm pretty sure that no admin has set up the school store yet, but hopefully that's coming soon because school starts in a week. My Store is for anything that you create that you would like to give away. And we do have a list of free things or relatively inexpensive things that you could reward students for. And we have a list, and I will get you that link. Oh, there it goes. There's the link for some reward ideas, and you can place those in your store so students can redeem them and you can give those away.
Malik, the link for rewards is also added to the agenda, or it should be.
Thank you very much. Right, the events is a calendar. So any events you want to add or any events that the school adds should be on this calendar, and you can give rewards for those. And I'm just gonna move on pretty quickly. If you have any questions, just list them in the chat. Our raffles. So the raffles, nothing here to display, but admin will set up different raffles and you can raffle off rewards for those as well. And we have links in the agenda, and if they're not there, they will be coming. And if you have any questions, list them in the chat. The CICO teacher. So this is a check-in, check-out for like the student's emotional well-being. So we could search for a student. It's not set up yet. So if admin chooses to set that up, so we'll have happy faces, sad faces that represent how the student feel. And you'll be able to view that here as well. Right, announcements. Announcements are for admin to staff or from staff to staff. So you can send messages to any staff member. Admin can do the same. And you'll have your inbox similar to our email. The teacher rewards section is for admin. It's basically a dashboard where teachers can get rewarded and also get positive feedback for what they've been doing around campus and based on how they have been rewarding students with the PBIS. Okay, and that will always pop up in a separate tab. Okay, so that is the teacher rewards. Reports are for admin, but you can also look at those as well. They have reports on everything for the entire year. I'll click there. So all the points that you've given out will be listed, and the categories that you give the points for also will be listed. Okay, and you can sort different reports. So awards to students, daily point goal, awarded to groups, points versus referrals, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we looked a little bit at the student tab. So we do have our test students, and once again, in the student tab, you have access to every student in the school. Okay, whether they belong to you or not, they will be listed. Okay, everybody in focus. Your ID printing tab. All right, so you have an option of printing IDs, but there's no need to print them. So the PBIS Rewards app will scan our student badges. Okay, so it's already built in. And if you have your cell phone with the app on it, you can scan as well. So no need to print a badge, but if something happens, you're able to do so. All right, before I get to the family link, I'd like to talk about just go back through the login authorization codes. So this is for immediate signups. So like you signed up today for the staff app on your phone, students can sign up for the student app. Substitutes. We can give authorization codes to substitutes. So if they are in your classroom for the day, they're able to give rewards as well. We also have a cashier and a scanning station. So if there's an event and you have someone not affiliated with the school or someone else in the school, they have cashier login authorization codes so they can give rewards and have students redeem rewards from your account. And the scanning station code allows any student app to be made into a scanning station where students can scan their ID badge in order to view their points balance. So if you're dealing with younger students, they probably won't have cell phones. So they can scan and view their points. All right, so now the family link. So there is a family app, and parents can download that app onto their cell phone so they can keep track of their students. They can message you from there. You can message them as well. So here, the first thing we have, I'll go into manage parents. So everything that's been in focus for every student has been loaded into the manage parent portal. So here you can add parents, you can select parents for an email or a text letter. And everybody with an address has been loaded in. And those without we have cell phone numbers, but you might not have email addresses. And once those parents get the app, you will see that listed on the right side. So if we click on email/text letter, we have an option to send only email, or we can send both email and text message. So that can be translated into English or Spanish. So you have to, let's see, select the student. See if that pops up. Okay, so our test student is not part of the family group. But if I selected this first student, we can also edit any parent information. So if we get an updated email, we can edit that here. If we get an updated phone number, we can edit that as well. Right, so if we do click on a student and click on an email/text letter, so it will notify you that that has been sent. You can edit your letter. So the default letter is just about PBIS and how they can get that family app. Okay, so that can be translated to English or Spanish. And that is the edit letter button. You can also print that letter and give it physically to the student to bring home, which has that QR code towards the bottom. Okay, so that's the edit letter part. So heading back to the parent conversations. So if we click on new message, we have a couple options. We can send to the parents of a student or the parents of a group. Okay, if we send to the parent of a student, we search for the student, that will send that message individually to that student. We can also send to the parents in a group. So if we want to send to the parents of our math class, that will include the entire group. Or if we want to send to our test group, same thing. See if that pops up. All right, so our test one group pops up, but our students, they're not real students, so they can't be found. But then we could type our message and send that out. So when we do that, we can also attach to the message with the paperclip option. And that's really cool. Really cool that we can contact all of our parents and let them know what's going on. And they can always download the app so they keep track of what's going on with their students as well. So let me hop over. All right, last part that I want to show is the show me how. which provides walkthroughs on various topics, and also the help button. And the help provides videos, articles, and different trainings as well. So the show me how, that is always going to be on the bottom of the screen. Okay. The show me how has a tab here. If we click on that tab, that'll bring up a screen. So here we have options. So they show, and I'm going to go to, let's say, sending a parent message. So just so you see, I've clicked on the show me how. I'm scrolling down to other, and then scrolling to sending parent message. So what that'll do, that'll bring up two options. So we have show me how to send a message to parents from a group, and show me how to send a message from the parent messages page. So let's send a message to parents from a group. So if we click on that, it'll show us exactly how to get there. So here we say, select the groups tab from the main menu. Now it says select the appropriate group. So whatever group you want to choose. So in this case, I'll choose this first conduct group. Now select the students whose parents you want to send a message, then click next. So being that school has not started, I cannot select on this student right now, but I'll just click next. It'll say click the message button. And we can't do that because it says we have not selected a student. But the show me how is a great tool because it literally walks you through how to do things. So if you want to create a group, edit your group, select a student at random, there are a lot of options that you can use as help. Okay, so we have a lot of options there. And the last thing I do want to show you is the help button. So on the top right hand of your screen, we have the help button next to the question mark. So the help button brings up a ton of resources. So we have the login section, get me started. I need training, videos, resources, FAQs. Up on the top, we have different topics, getting started, resources, and most importantly, the training. So if we click on the training tab, so that brings up a couple of options. Here on top, we have the training calendar. So the PBIS Rewards training calendar. Almost every day, they have something going on. Okay, so they have webinars almost daily on different topics, repeat webinars for beginners, for intermediate, for advanced users. Okay, so each month they have different trainings going on. The Rewards University. So here we have all types of short videos, longer videos for beginning, intermediate, and advanced users. All these videos are on YouTube as well, so they're accessible. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, I've watched this video before multiple times because it's no shame. You have a lot of help. And on the bottom, I need help with different topics, so you can click on those. And that'll bring up videos and articles that you can click on. So a lot of resources that you can use here. And it's all under the Help tab.
Malik, we have a few questions.
Okay.
Is there a way to see when a parent has actually seen a message that we send?
I have not seen that yet since We have not had that much time to play with this, and school hasn't started yet. But I will look into that, and I will let's see, Ms. Shaw, and I will get back to you about that.
And then can students message on the app? So can they send like messages to the teacher or to each other?
I have not seen the student app yet. Over the next couple of days, I will test it because my daughter is in 2nd grade, so we'll be using this app. As far as I know, only to the teacher, not to each other. Oh, thank you, Kara.
Mhm. And then for signing parents up like on an orientation night, could they just use the QR code or should they just send home the letter with the QR code, or what's your opinion?
Absolutely. I would absolutely sign them up on orientation night. The more the better. If they're there at one time, sign them up. That'll be quick, painless, easy.
And then as far as messaging parents, would it come through as a text message or an email, or it depends on what you select?
It depends on what you select. So you can select, let's see. So with the family letters, you can email or text. And let's go back. And with the message, I think that's just email. But it depends on the information that you have. Let me find, let's test this now. Let's find a student. It's okay. All right, looks like this is just like email, but I will look into that and I will definitely get back to you with that. Any other questions?
No more questions coming in at the moment.
Okay, right. Yeah, so every school should be loaded with the exception of IRA. So there was an issue and they got loaded to Indian River Prep instead of Indian River Academy, but they are working to fix that now. How do we get parents to sign up again? So now we have 2 ways. So you can just, on the family letter that you can email and text home, there's a QR code, or well, they can scan this QR and that will take them to the family app. Well, once they install that family app, they will be able to scan that code and that will sign them up. Yes, Brittany, the staff app is the correct one to use on your phone, unless you have a student, which you might want to get the family app. And yes, you can print that letter. So there's an option on the top screen, right next to edit letter. You can print the letter for orientation. You're welcome. I don't see that in my family link. Ms. Wanza, what part don't you see in your family link?
I don't see what your screen has. The family letters, when I click on the family link on the left, the only thing I see, it just says new message and inbox, and your parent inbox is empty.
So you don't have the manage parents part?
On the right,
Yes.
so click that.
Yes, click that.
Okay. got it. Thanks.
Okay, no problem. Are these only test groups, or can we begin adding our groups now? So your groups, the groups that are already made for you, these are your actual classes. All right, these are the classes that are rostered from Focus. And you can begin adding groups. You can switch around students if you'd like. And the test group, that's just what we made. What if we are a teacher and a parent? Can we access both PBIS staff and PBIS family? Yes, I have on my phone right now, I have the staff app and I also have the family app. And I'm sure my wife will download the student app for my daughter. So yes, you can access both.
One thing to add to that, Malik, if you are a parent as well, when you create your parent account, you should use a personal email and not your school email so they don't get confused.
Yes, good point. Good point. All right. Any other questions? All right, well, if you guys do have any issues, feel free to contact your digital integration specialist. We'd be more than happy to help you. So Amy, when you click on print letter, you do have the option of printing in English or Spanish. And it is going to spin. All right, so you don't get a choice of where to print. Okay. That may depend on how your printers are set up. I do see your issue. So I will look into that, Amy. And I will contact you, hopefully to the default printer.
If you read the paragraph on that page where it says print details, it says when you've chosen the students, click create file to print, and a PDF with all letters will generate. It may appear at the bottom of your screen or in your download folder, depending on which browser you use. Once you have the PDF, you can print out the letters. So what it's actually doing is creating a PDF generated file, which will download. So PBS does seem to be working a little slow today, so it might take a few minutes for that download to pop up.
Thank you for that information. I was just checking to make sure you were paying attention.
Thank you. Well, it's reading. I'm an English teacher. You math people just jump straight to the buttons.
That's true.
Really, Allison did confirm that she got the download, and she got it in her download folder.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, it is after 10 o'clock, so feel free to jump off. And thanks for enjoying or attending the training. And if you have any questions, just reach out.